I'm Josh Robin. Here's your Spectrum News in 90. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy takes the nation's debt ceiling fight to Wall Street. He addressed the New York Stock Exchange this morning. McCarthy said Republicans will not allow the government to default on its debts. President Joe Biden is calling this weekend's gun violence outrageous and unacceptable. At least 2 mass shootings left 6 dead and dozens more injured. 4 were killed at a teenager's birthday party in Alabama, while 2 more died in a separate shooting at a park in Louisville, Kentucky. More than 30,000 athletes are running in the 127th annual Boston Marathon. And for the first time, the marathon features a non-binary category. It's been 10 years since the Boston Marathon bombing that left 3 dead and hundreds more hurt. Those are your headlines now. Here's your weather on the ones.
I'm meteorologist Josh Linker, and things have been relatively quiet across the country, at least as far as April is concerned. Yeah, we do have some weather systems, but nothing monumental. A little bit of rain and snow across parts of the Great Lakes. That system will pull up into Canada, drying out really the entire eastern United States. And then another system coming in out west with more rain, higher elevation snows, and we'll see some snows with the piece of that weather system coming inland to parts of the central and northern Rockies as we make our way into tomorrow.
Good day. You're watching Spectrum News. I'm Josh Robin. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is taking his fight over the debt limit to Wall Street. He addressed the New York Stock Exchange this morning. As our Washington Bureau reporter Angie Gonzalez tells us, dealing with the debt limit is one of the many issues on Congress's to-do list.
As the House and Senate resumes work, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy kicked off his week with an appearance at the New York Stock Exchange Monday, sharing his assessment of the state of the U.S. economy.
Our national debt is too high, far too high. And the problem is getting worse, not better. We are now $31 trillion in debt.
And revealing some of what Republicans hope will be a framework for a plan that will raise the debt ceiling for 1 year, but with strings attached.
First, we'll limit federal spending by returning the federal government to 2022 levels. And then limit the growth of spending over the next 10 years to 1%.
The proposal, which includes a slew of cuts and revenue raisers, is supposed to jumpstart negotiations, which have been stalled for months. President Joe Biden says he's ready to get to work, but needs to know where Republicans stand.
Of course I'll speak with him. We agreed early on. I'd lay down a budget, which I did on March 9th, and he'd lay down a budget. I don't know what we're negotiating, but I don't know what they want.
2 senators, both sidelined with health issues, are back to work today. Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and Democrat John Fetterman. But it's not clear when Senator Dianne Feinstein will return to Washington. She's still recovering from shingles. The 89-year-old has requested to be temporarily replaced on the Senate Judiciary Committee, so the process of confirming judicial nominees will not be held up in her absence.
And Angie Gonzalez joins us now. Angie, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, not the only Republican in New York City today. House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan also taking things on the road to New York. What is that all about?
Yeah, so of course, the Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan is leading this hearing in his role, as you mentioned, as chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. And members of the House GOP are billing it as an examination of what they call, quote, pro-crime and anti-victim policies of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Democrats, however, say that this hearing is just a partisan stunt that's aimed at trying to discredit the current Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, because of that investigation, which, of course, led to the recent arrest and indictment of former President Donald Trump. Josh?
Angie Gonzalez reporting in Washington. Thank you. The Kansas City police is investigating a shooting which injured a black teen. A homeowner shot the teen who went to the wrong house to pick up his brothers. Police say 16-year-old Ralph Yarl was hospitalized on Thursday following the shooting. Police have not identified the homeowner who shot Yarl, but civil rights attorney Ben Crump told the Kansas City Star that the homeowner is white. Investigators are working to determine whether the homeowner is protected under the Stand Your Ground laws. President Joe Biden is calling this weekend's gun violence, quote, outrageous and unacceptable. There was yet another shooting in Louisville. 2 people were killed when a gunman opened fire at a park, and 4 people were killed and dozens more injured at a Sweet 16 party in Alabama. Our Katie Kapusta tells us how this shooting is impacting that tight-knit community.
It was supposed to be a joyous occasion celebrating a 16th birthday on Saturday. But around 10:30 that night, shots rang out, killing 4 people and injuring 28 more, according to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. The community came together Sunday to remember the victims and pray for those that are still fighting for their lives.
Probably 250, 300 people were there, gathered in the parking lot, waiting to hear news of their family, what had happened. Watched as many of the families heard that it was their child that had passed, that it was their child that had been shot.
Among those who died, the birthday girl's brother, Philstavius Dowdle, a star high school football player who was planning on attending Jacksonville State University on a scholarship.
Phil just told me about a month ago. He said, Coach, if anything ever happened to me, even when I go to college, take care of my 2 sisters. I never dreamed that he was talking about this.
Local community leaders say that the children of this tight-knit community had a lot to look forward to.
These children had very bright futures, the ones that I knew from Dateville. Very, very athletic, very humble children, very respectful children, smart. I don't know anybody that could speak negative on any of them. They just wanted to have fun.
Our Katie Kapusta joins us now. And Katie, we understand there was yet another shooting in Louisville. What can you tell us?
That's right, Josh. Unfortunately, just hours before this shooting in Dadeville, another shooting in Louisville, Kentucky was reported. Shots were fired into a crowd at Chickasaw Park around 9 on Saturday night. 2 people died at the scene and 4 others were hospitalized. The shooting was just 5 miles away from the Old National Bank, where a gunman killed 5 people last week. This is the second mass shooting in Louisville in 1 week. Law enforcement calling this gun violence saddening. We're also working to find out more about the motive in the shooters in both of these cases. We'll continue to keep you updated. Josh.
Okay, our Katie Kapusta. Thank you so much. 2 men are under arrest for allegedly running a secret police station in New York controlled by the Chinese government. According to the FBI, the station provided Chinese government services to people, but it also tracked pro-democracy advocates here in the United States. Officials say that 2 suspects received their orders directly from the Chinese government National Police Force.
These defendants did China's bidding in secret while acting under the direction and control of an NPS official in China.
The agency also arrested 34 NPS officers for running, quote, troll farms. They're accused of making thousands of fake social media accounts, spreading conspiracy theories, and attacking Chinese democracy. Minnesota's Court of Appeals is upholding the most serious murder conviction against Derek Chauvin for the death of George Floyd. The former Minneapolis police officer is serving a 22-and-a-half-year sentence for the second-degree murder count. His attorney asked the court to throw out the conviction, claiming the pretrial publicity and both legal and procedural errors prevented Chauvin from getting a fair trial. Floyd died on May 25, 2020. Chauvin used his knee to pin Floyd's neck to the ground for 9.5 minutes. Jury selection in former President Donald Trump's assault and defamation trial will begin next Tuesday. A federal judge denied his request to delay the trial. Trump's team wanted to delay the trial because of all the publicity he got from his indictment in the Stormy Daniels case. The judge said it was, quote, pure speculation that the attention surrounding the indictment would affect their ability to select a jury in the E. Jean Carroll trial. The judge also noted the request appeared to be another delay tactic. We're less than 2 months away from the start of Atlantic hurricane season. Colorado State University is predicting it will be slightly below average activity with 13 named storms, 6 hurricanes, 2 of them major. But as the nation plans ahead for future storms, people in Southwest Florida are still dealing with the damage left behind from the 3rd most expensive storm in U.S. history. That's Hurricane Ian. Our Ashante Ford takes a look at the cleanup efforts in Fort Myers.
Now, Hurricane Ian literally ripped through the state of Florida, taking lives, destroying families, homes. Reports show that at least 5,000 homes were completely ripped apart and some odd 30,000 homes destroyed. Hurricane Ian damage can still be seen 6 months later, and it's places like Fort Myers that's said to have gotten it the worst.
We're going to be looking at St. James City, Sanibel. Right here is our impacted area.
Captain Eric Davis is from Fort Myers, so the damage was personal for him, which is in part why he's been volunteering his time towards Hurricane Ian relief efforts.
We were running people out to Sanibel because the roads were impacted. So a lot of the local guides were running residents back and forth out to Sanibel so they could check on their houses.
The United States Army Corps of Engineers evaluated the buildings in Fort Myers back in October of 2022 to assess damages. The 23-page document listed over 1,000 addresses.
Yeah, obviously you can still see, dock damage, still extensive, a lot of repairs. It's going to be a long time for a recovery before it's 100% back to what it was before the storm.
Damage can still be seen on and off the water.
We're at the south side of Pine Island, and this is a sailboat that was washed up into the mangroves during the hurricane. We actually know the guy. He was on the boat. He rode the storm out on the boat, ended up having to climb out of the boat once it blew into the trees.
And Captain Davis said he feels good about the efforts Lee County has made to address damages Ian left behind, adding that this has given the county a new opportunity to come back stronger. In Fort Myers, Ashanti Ford, Spectrum News.
Tens of thousands of people are running in the 127th Boston Marathon today. Well, this year's race is bittersweet for many. That's next on Spectrum News. But first, your weather on the ones.
Hello, I'm meteorologist Josh Linker. As one system exits, another one comes in. But overall, the pattern over the last week or so has been generally quiet. Just a lot of systems taking this northern track as we see one pulling up into Canada here in the next 24 hours and another system coming in out west with heavy rain along the coast, higher elevation snows, and we'll see this carrying on into the northern Rockies. And we'll follow the evolution of that with some more heavy snow across Montana and into the Dakotas. By the time we get to Wednesday, it'll be briefly quiet. But as that cold front marches eastward, I am expecting Wednesday evening and Wednesday night to see a round of severe weather possible from the plains on up into the upper Midwest. And that'll be the bullseye for that potential for severe weather on Wednesday, again from the plains into parts of Iowa. And then this extends as that whole system will be moving toward the east. Could see some problems farther east heading into the end of the week.
It's so sad. It's not.
Allison and Michael have been in their home for 10 years, and their bathroom really needed an update.
I like doing home projects. Would have definitely taken me longer than we have.
They needed a more convenient option, so they called West Shore.
The design consultant made it really easy.
I left for work with the kids, and they showed up. Morning.
Have a nice day at school.
By dinner time, we had our bathroom.
Individuals in every community are living in recovery from mental and substance use disorders. Begin your recovery journey. Join the Voices for Recovery. Strengthen families and communities.
For confidential information on mental and substance use disorders, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Ultomiris is for adults with generalized myasthenia gravis who are anti-acetylcholine receptor antibody positive. It is lasting control over your GMG symptoms, and Ultomiris is the only long-acting GMG treatment with 8 weeks of freedom between infusions. Ultomiris can lower your immune system's ability to fight infections, increasing your chance of serious, life-threatening meningococcal and other types of infections. If not vaccinated, you must receive meningococcal vaccines at least 2 weeks before starting Ultomiris. And if Ultomiris is urgent, you should also receive 2 weeks of antibiotics with your vaccines. Before starting Ultomiris, tell your doctor about all of your medical conditions and medications. Ultomiris can cause reactions such as back pain, tiredness, dizziness, limb discomfort, or bad taste. Ultomiris is here. Ask your doctor about managing your generalized myasthenia gravis with Ultomiris.
I am blind, but I need not see. I know this road is
top critic of the Kremlin could be spending 25 years behind bars. Vladimir Karamurza Jr. was convicted today on treason charges and for denigrating the Russian military. The Washington Post contributor has survived 2 poisonings that he blames on the Kremlin. He's been behind bars since his arrest a year ago. The charges against him stem from his March 2022 speech to the Arizona House of Representatives. That's when he denounced Russia's military action in Ukraine. He calls the charges against him political. Former U.S. President Bill Clinton and past leaders from the UK and Ireland are gathering in Belfast to mark 25 years since Northern Ireland's historic peace agreement. A place that's dramatically changed since 1998, Northern Ireland is currently locked in a political crisis, which is threatening to disrupt the peace secured by the Good Friday Agreement. Former U.S. Senator George Mitchell, who chaired the peace talks, said while disagreements persist, quote, the people of Northern Ireland don't want to return to violence, not now and not ever. Hundreds of thousands of people are running in the Boston Marathon today. It is a bittersweet race for many. It's been 10 years since the bombing that claimed 3 lives and injured hundreds others. According to the Boston Athletic Association, today's field is the fastest and most decorated to ever participate in the race. Our Cam Jandro reports from the starting line.
It's cold, it's rainy, it's foggy, but it's Marathon Monday, the 127th running of the Boston Marathon. And even with this nasty weather, there are thousands of people here at the start line in Hopkinton. We're just feet away from the start line, actually. And even though it's pretty nasty today, people are excited. The cowbells are going crazy. We caught up with a bunch of people who have been hanging out outside of the route, and they say they're having a great time. Who are you supporting today?
All the women out there. Well, everyone, but especially the Wonder Women running the marathon.
We're supporting everyone. We grew up in town. I live down the street. Our family friends live here, so we come every year to support everyone.
So what does it mean to you as a Hopkins resident to be here supporting everyone who's running the marathon?
It's so special. It's like the biggest holiday of the year in Hopkinton, so it's so fun and to get work off and come down here.
Of course, this year is the 10-year anniversary of the 2013 bombing at the finish line of the Boston Marathon, and all morning long there were commemorations and recognition of people who stepped up and made an impact on that tragic day. But again, people's spirits are up today. Even with this nasty weather, they're just excited to have the marathon back. In Hopkinton, I'm Cam Jandro, Spectrum News.
The U.S. fertility rate is about 1.7 births per female, which is below the replacement rate of about 2%. Women are waiting longer to have babies and also having fewer of them. Our Nora Lane Hawaja spoke with a woman about why she's not having kids right now.
Hey, Zeldy, let's go downstairs and play with your colors and your blocks.
The love between a mother and daughter.
You want me to open them?
On full display during playtime. Allison Capella waited to have her first child.
See?
Until she felt like she was financially ready. She was 42 when she had Zelda, a 2.5-year-old who is full of energy.
Show me some other letters.
Allison is a lawyer and a working mom. Despite she and her husband being working professionals, she believes the cost of raising a child in the U.S. is expensive. Among the biggest costs, childcare.
That's a rent payment. It's half of the mortgage payment.
They rely strictly on daycare or babysitters with no family members nearby. While she would love to give Zelda another sibling, she can't afford to have another child.
You know, you think about like not just diapers and formula and daycare, but you know, you want the best for your kid and swimming lessons and dance lessons and things like that are not only expensive but time consuming, and the idea of adding a second to the mix is just like, I don't know if we can do this.
The U.S. fertility rate is on a sharp decline, especially among younger generations. The National Center for Health Statistics says, on average, women are having 1.3 biological children and are doing so later in life, at the age of 35 or older. Reasons for the delay vary, including pursuit of a higher education, changes in familial values, and financial considerations.
There she is! Your career becomes your identity, and it's really hard to choose. And it's, it pulls at your heartstrings.
Parenting, Allison says, can be challenging at times, but she remains grateful for what she has.
I'm not Debbie Downer on having a kid. She's the best thing that's ever happened in my life, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. It's way harder.
Time to drop off Zelda to daycare so Allison can carry on with her day.
Okay, time for school.
Allison wants the U.S. government to invest in and promote American families by subsidizing childcare and so much more.
Having more flexibility and more paternity and maternity leave. The tax credit that went away last year because of COVID really killed me. I got a great tax return last year. This year I didn't. Having children is wonderful. It's been the most fulfilling thing in my life, and everyone deserves that chance, and it should not be based on money alone.
Noor Lane Khawaja, Spectrum News.
If you haven't filed your taxes yet, well, folks, you are really running out of time. Tomorrow is the official deadline. Estimates by the IRS show almost 1/4 of Americans wait until the very last minute to file their taxes. If you can't file by tomorrow, you can still file for a 6-month extension, and some taxpayers already have an extension due to extreme events like Hurricane Ian and California's severe weather.
I'm meteorologist Josh Linker. We're tracking a couple of storm systems, nothing monumental across the country. This one in the Great Lakes in the Northeast producing some rain, some snow at times across parts of the Great Lakes, a little bit of a lake enhancement to some of that precipitation. Pretty impressive cold front has moved off into the Atlantic Ocean. Out west, we have another system coming across the country. This one will turn into a blizzard-like scenario across the northern Rockies, Montana, and the Dakotas. And then the strong cold front will come in and produce some pretty rough weather across the mid part of the nation. Severe weather is expected from the plains on up into the upper Midwest for late Wednesday into Wednesday night. A bit of a cool down here with highs only in the 40s, parts of Ohio and back toward the Great Lakes, and even all the way down south with just 70s across portions of Florida as we make our way through today, warming up across the plains, and then overnight tonight around the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes, and it stays mild across the southern plains into tomorrow.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
Over the past 2 years, we've put over 1,000 underrepresented small businesses on TV, supported them with $20 million in free media, provided access to advertising resources, and exclusive mentorship programs to help them achieve their dreams. At Spectrum Reach, we believe that businesses thrive when communities connect. That's why we began the Pay It Forward program in 2021 to support small businesses all across the country. It's our way of making connections to better serve our communities. Learn what Pay It Forward can do for your business today.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how, and we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids need to know the dangers and how to avoid them. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids, because when you talk, they hear you.
Are you an older adult looking for technology help? Maybe you just got a new tablet and don't know how to use it yet? Or maybe you're already pretty tech savvy but just want to learn more? You should check out Cyber Seniors. We're a nonprofit that gets tech savvy teens like me to help older adults like you. I earn volunteer hours and develop valuable skills, and you get free tech help. To learn more, call us at 844-217-3057 or visit us at cyberseniors.org.
Making just one connection during recovery from mental and substance use disorders puts the strength of family and community behind you. We're all connected. Join the Voices for Recovery, strengthen families, and
Use disorders. Call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Opera, Broadway's longest-running show, ended with thunderous standing ovations, champagne toasts, and gold and silver confetti bursting from its famous chandelier. Previous cast members joined the act for the final show, number 13,981. My goodness. And Andrew Lloyd Webber took to the stage last and dedicated it to his son, Nick, who died last month. The musical, a fixture on Broadway since opening back in January of 1988, had weathered recessions, war, terrorism, and cultural shifts. A producer for Phantom hits that the show could actually be back. A Wisconsin woman is building quite a following by teaching people how to make repairs around the house. But she's more than just that. Our Savannah Tomei introduces us to the handy ma'am.
Okay, how am I going to do this?
A lot of time goes into one 50-second video. But it's what Mercury Stardust loves to do.
It was a good take, but bad lighting.
She's turned her theater degree, career as a maintenance technician, and love of performance into an online community. Today, she's talking about nails.
Neither I'm asked all the time how I keep my nails all nice and pretty. I used to think that I had to keep these worlds separate. Like I couldn't be a maintenance technician and a performer. And now it's literally what I do every day.
She teaches people how to fix things in their apartments and homes as the trans handyman.
It calls attention to two things, trans and ma'am, right? Two things you don't always associate with handy people.
Queerness is an essential part of the brand she's built.
I call myself the trans maintenance lady or the trans handyman so people would know I was on their side.
Her goal is to help people who have been left out.
As a marginalized person myself, I'm speaking from a perspective of like, I know why you don't want people in your house. I know why you don't want to ask questions. I know why you don't know this stuff because I also have things I don't know because I'm afraid to ask for help.
She carved out her own little corner of the internet.
Basically luck, tenacity, and just sheer,
2 million followers later, she's helping people improve their surroundings and their lives by giving them a safe space. In Madison, Savannah Tomei, Spectrum News.
Raising awareness and also teaching people how to do projects around the house. That'll do it for now. Remember, you can stay connected with us here at Spectrum News by getting your national and local headlines on the go. Just download the free Spectrum News app. It is available in the App Store and on Google Play. Until the next time, I'm Josh Robin. Have a great day.